This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
The World of Yesterday, Memoirs of a European by Stefan Zweig. Translated from the German by Anthea Bell, read by David Horovitch for Ukemi Audiobooks. Let's withdraw and meet the time as it seeks us. Cymbeline, Shakespeare. Forward. I never considered myself important enough to feel tempted to tell others the story of my life. Much had to happen, far more in the shape of terrible events, disasters and trials than any other single generation has known, before I found the courage to embark on a book in which I feature as the main, or more accurately, the central character. Nothing is further from my mind than to bring myself to the fore, unless in the sense of being the presenter of a lecture illustrated by slides. The Times provide the pictures, I merely speak the words to go with them, and it will not be so much my own story I tell as that of an entire generation. Our unique generation, carrying a heavier burden of fate than almost any other in the course of history. We have all, even the least of us, known the turmoil of almost constant volcanic shocks suffered by our native continent of Europe, and the only precedence I can claim for myself among a countless multitude is that as an Austrian, a Jew, a writer, a humanist, and a pacifist, I have always stood where those volcanic eruptions were at their most violent. 3 times they have wreaked havoc with my home and my way of life, cutting me off from the past and all that it once comprised, and flinging me with dramatic force into a void where I soon became familiar with the feeling that there was nowhere to turn. But that in itself was no great cause for complaint. The homeless, more than anyone, are free in a new way, and only those with no more ties can afford to cast consideration to the winds. So I hope that I can fulfill at least one of the main requirements of every proper account of a certain era, and look at it with honest impartiality. For I have indeed been torn from all my roots, even from the earth that nourished them, more entirely than most in our times. I was born in 1881, in the great and mighty empire of the Habsburg monarchy, but you would look for it in vain on the map today. It has vanished without trace. I grew up in Vienna, an international metropolis for 2,000 years, and had to steal away from it like a thief in the night before it was demoted to the status of a provincial German town. My literary work, in the language in which I wrote it, has been burnt to ashes in the country where my books made millions of readers their friends. So I belong nowhere now. I am a stranger, or at the most, a guest everywhere. Even the true home of my heart's desire, Europe, is lost to me after twice tearing itself suicidally to pieces in fratricidal wars. Against my will, I have witnessed the most terrible defeat of reason and the most savage triumph of brutality in the chronicles of time. Never, and I say so not with pride but with shame, has a generation fallen from such intellectual heights as ours to such moral depths.